Alright, so back some time ago I did a video where I got two tiger nearite snails and I set them up in quarantine before adding them to my fry tank. Well, things changed, plans changed, and the nearites are still in here. I've upgraded the little tank that they are in, so now they're in just a snail tank, and this is about a 2.5 gallon. All total, if I was to fill it all the way up, it would be almost 4 gallons, but because I decided to get mystery snails, as you can see, I only fill it up about halfway, a little more. So it's about 2.25 gallons of water that I change out fairly regularly. About every 2 to 3 days I change it out for them. And you can see right here is one of the little nearites and my golden mystery snail. And then I have 5 blue mystery snails that I got off of eBay. I was going to do an unboxing, but my battery was dead when the mail got here, and I didn't want to wait and leave them in their packaging any longer than what I had to, so I just went ahead, took them out, and got them acclimated. But I have 5 of these little guys and girls. They are a blue mystery snail with a dark foot. Let's see if this will focus in here. Yep, there we go. And I got these 5 blue ones off of eBay. The 2 golden ones I got from a local pet store. And same with the nearites, I got them from a local pet store as well. Sorry for the shakiness, out of focus, trying to get them and show you. Now the golden mystery snails I've had for probably about 3 weeks, I want to say 3-4 weeks, something like that. And when I got them, this little guy and the 2 golden ones I do believe are male, from what I've looked up and researched, and from the best that I could tell, these 2 are 2 males. Which because I'm not 100% sure on how to actually determine that. I'm not going to try to show you, but there's a good, let's see, these guys here are probably about, so when I got them, they were only, because I measured them just like this, they were only this big, so they've grown about 10 millimeters since I've got them. And I have grown to love these mystery snails. They are comical, if you ask me. And they are little garbage cans. I mean, they will eat anything left over in the tank, any uneaten food, algae growth. So, and the one that I bought, actually the other one that I was showing you, was actually a lot smaller than this one as well. And now they're both about the same size, and you can see right here in the front of the shell how this is a lot lighter here. That's actually new shell growth, and it'll be very, very thin, and you don't want to mess with that with them because you could injure the snail. and you could even damage their shell. But over time, as they get more calcium and everything, that hardens up and it gets the brilliant, beautiful coloring. Now, these neorites, the one the neorites, they are beautiful. Their shells have brilliant coloration to them, and they're very, very pretty. But for what I needed, which was something to clean up after my fry and to help, eat leftover foods and just clean up stuff off the bottom, plus in my fry tanks, my bigger grow out tanks, I use Indian almond leaves, and I needed something to kind of help clean up the mess from that. And the neorites just are not meant for that. They are great if you have an algae problem in your tank, but none of my tanks are by a window. The lights that they get are LED lighting, so I don't have algae growth necessarily in my tank. So I have to supplement their food, and they do not do well with supplemented food. They prefer grown algae. So they've been very difficult for me. Another thing is because of the shell, and even with the mystery snails, this is just a piece of cuttle bone, and you can get this at your pet store. They have one specially designed for tanks and everything, and it floats. It will eventually sink. I just put more in here. I have this all over my tank. I have pieces sunk in. I also crush it up and sprinkle it over the substrate after a water change, just so that the snails are getting it in their diet, and so that they have good, healthy shell growth. Now, I'll show you what I did. I don't actually buy the ones for the aquarium. This is actually what I get. This is actually meant for birds, as you can see, but the cuttle bone that was at a local pet store, which is a Petco, was around $6-7 for a lot smaller than what I got here, because this was almost the size of this box. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized box, and I've been using it. It looks the exact same as what you get specially for turtles and for snails. It looks the same. I've Googled it and looked up. It's all just 100% bones from the cuttlefish. I've had no problems using it. My snails are growing rapidly, and it's a lot cheaper than buying the actual one for fish tanks. Now, this whole setup, like I said, it is about a 4-gallon tub, and this whole setup cost me $3 for the tub, $1 for this little plant, $2 for the rocks in the bottom, so $3, $5, $6 for a nice little setup. And then I got a heater actually back here, and it's just a little 5-watt heater, and I got it in there because the neorites in here like a slightly higher temperature. I also put a little air stone in there because the neorites like more oxygenated water than the mystery snails do. The mystery snails, they can breathe. They have both a gill and a lung. So if the water isn't as oxygenated, it's not a problem. But the neorites, on the other hand, they need a little more oxygen than what the mystery snails do. And there is another one of my blue ones. And like I said, there are 5 of these guys in here. All of them are, this one right here on this underside of this leaf. They are growing. I can see new shell growth on them as well. I did not actually measure these guys when I got them. Let's see here. So they're about 20. So these guys are just a little bit smaller than when I first got my golden mystery snails from Petco. And I mean, they're growing, and I see there's a little bit of damage on their shell where the person that I bought them off of on eBay, she had bred them and everything, and it just happens. It seems like I've noticed no matter how much cuttle bone or calcium or diet that they feed them when they're babies, it seems like all of them have that little bit of deterioration where they've actually nipped at it and have chewed on each other's shells. So I don't hold that against the breeder that I got these off of. I don't hold the damage on my golden ones that I got from Petco against them. It's just kind of one of those things that it is what it is. You know, it happens. I'm not going to, say that, oh, well, the breeder of them were horrible and wasn't giving them the proper care, because I've seen people who keep them on crushed coral and have cuttle bone all in there and, just overloading them with calcium. They still seem to do that when they're babies. But as they grow, their shells do smooth out and look a lot prettier. And there's blue ones just moving around. And I use these are just cheap dollar store silk plants that I get. They have the plastic backing. I use these, as you can see in here, with my snails. I also use them in my better fry tanks, and they're soft. They're silk plants. Now, like in my better fry tank, I would cut like this off so that or in my better tanks in general, I would cut this off so it don't damage their tail. But these, I find, are a lot better for the betta fish, because they're not hard plastic like the ones you would get at a pet store or in the aquarium section. They're not that hard plastic, so they're not going to rip and tear their fins on them. And I do hope to get these guys breeding soon. I keep a lid on here to keep the humidity up, and that's part of the reason why I have the heater as well, so that if they do lay eggs while I'm at work or sleeping or what be it, that the humidity stays high enough that the eggs stay moist and don't dry out. And hopefully I won't have to actually take them out of here and incubate them. I'm hoping to just be able to leave them where the snails lay them and let them hatch more naturally. But I will cross that when they start laying eggs for me.